Hi, it's Xanthe. We're going to just look at just a few makeup colours going with this outfit, and so this colour here is closest to, with my paint pigments, ultramarine blues. So this abstract's upside down, but it's closer to violet than our green leaning blues, which is closest to turquoise or green. And so another way of looking at it is this is ultramarine blue, whereas this is phthalo blue, and when you lighten it we get cyan. I'm just going to apply a little bit of makeup. I had a question asking me if I have a large makeup collection because I seem to match the different colours. No, I actually don't. I've just filmed a very short video just showing my makeup collection. It fits into one small drawer and it doesn't even fill the drawer. I basically coordinate the makeup so that it's not an exact match to my clothing. So I'm just applying here my Cetaphil moisturising lotion, dry to normal sensitive skin. I don't use products labelled as a primer, so I use this as my primer. So I can use it as hand cream, elbow cream, whatever. Now, my makeup collection is actually very small. One of the reasons why I show the videos is actually the colour is, the whole point is that I'm actually just using a very small collection. You don't actually need 2 tons of makeup. This is Olay sensitive for some SPF. I actually find it quite disgusting when I see people who have so much makeup that they would never ever use themselves. It's just sort of like the world of the influencer. It just goes completely against my values, and it's not even the fact that I am on a low income, it's also just the waste and the encouraging of waste. The fashion industry and the cosmetic industry, I find it absolutely disgusting. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. So I buy what I would use, and it's sort of, you know, enjoying colour, but I don't want to be really excessive about it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to today just do a light makeup with some products I pulled out that will sort of lean a little bit violet. So with a base I will use the closest match that I can. So for me that's the L'Oreal True Match. 3.5N is my closest. Now I can apply this with a brush for a sparing effect, or in this case today I'm just going to mix it with just a little bit of the moisturiser. I tried it yesterday, it doesn't seem to split. When I tried some Brains labelled skin tints, which seem to be all the rage, they were just too shiny, way too shiny. So I find that this way I can actually just use my hands. Whereas if I was using the foundation straight, I would definitely use a brush, just because I don't want it to look, just really obvious. So anyway, I quite liked it, but it is very sheer. When I have tried like a tinted sunscreen or something like that in the past, the tint just hasn't really matched me very well. But yeah, the products that are labelled as skin tints, they seem to put way too much of the luminous stuff in it. It just looks so fake. And and they seem to just be so messy as well. Just the tester bottles are disgusting, I tell you. But I do find that I will need a little bit of coverage for hyperpigmentation and dark circles. So in this case I'll just use a little bit of concealer. I've got a serum concealer here, which is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So you don't need like 5 million foundations or concealers, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I've got this one, which I usually provide very sparingly. I actually currently own 2 concealers, just 2. They're both in the light, medium and sort of neutrals. So I would go for something that's similar or slightly lighter than the skin tone. And my complexion, according to the cosmetic industry, is neutral. But there's so much inconsistency about it. So what I'm going to do is just use also a little bit of peach colour corrector, just so that it's not, if you go from anything dark to light, it can look ashy. So just adding a little bit of warmth in, even though my skin tone is not super warm. I just want to apply the tiniest amount to the darkest parts. I am not spreading product out away here, all over here. When I apply anything to my lid, it is whatever residue is left, the tiniest amount that you can barely see, just as kind of like a base. I'm definitely not, it actually makes me feel really icky. When I see people go like this, I'm not going to do it for real. And then just slather it dripping off, and then use this, might as well use one of my paintbrushes, right? Just paint it on thickly. From a sensory perspective, would be a nightmare, and it's just such a waste for clicks and views. Anyway, can't see very well without my glasses on. I think that less is more, although you know, we got hyperpigmentation like I have, do need spot coverage if we want to minimise it. I'm not wearing 2 tons of makeup. That is the makeup that I've applied under my eyes. So it's slightly more peachy compared to my skin tone, which has olive qualities to it. So the idea is that a little bit of warmth, a little bit lighter, will both lighten and reduce the shadows and the darkness for the hyperpigmentation, etc. So we're just going to apply a little bit of eyeshadows. So the one from this palette here, the Chi Macona's palette. This one here is the closest to the ultramarine. Now that's how pigmented it is. So I'm just going to apply a little bit at the corner, just for a little bit of colour to coordinate. Now I thought that originally this palette was going to be way too cool for me and way too bright, but you don't need to apply it full strength. A little bit under my eyes there. You don't need to apply it full strength, and I'm going to apply a little bit of the light one as a highlight in the middle. So there's a tiniest amount of product goes a long way when you get pigmented ones. And I'm just going to use that one there, which is like a Prussian blue. So that one's like an ultramarine blue, that one is similar to a phthalo blue, that one is similar to a Prussian blue. So I'm just going to use a little bit as an eyeliner. I don't use any more products marketed as eyeliner. I prefer to use just the eyeshadow. One, because it doesn't seem to just smear it all over the place and make a mess like when I've tried eyeliners. 2, it just seems to wash off a bit easier when I want to remove it. Just a little bit there, a little bit there, and just going to apply a little bit more of that one. And I'm just going to use a, let's see, just one of these cool, it's called Cool Browns, just a neutral, just on this top bit, just to kind of add a bit of shadow with hooded eyes. just want to I don't want the bright everywhere. I think that too much bright makeup just looks like a clown, to be honest. Display what on me, that's for sure. So I have the tiniest bit of eyeshadow on, but I do think that a tiny bit goes a long way on me. Tiny bit goes a long way on me, so I'm just blending it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of mascara on. So I've just only got one mascara, which is a brown. This is a Xanthe 2B mascara. And I'm just going to apply it to the top lashes today. So the makeup item that would need replacing most often, I think, is mascara, as far as hygiene is concerned. I haven't bothered to curl my eyelashes. Now, I see quite a lot of people using the concealer with acne and doing this. What they're doing then is taking the infection and putting it back into here with this water. I've studied microbiology at university level along with chemistry. It's basically just turning it into a petri dish, but it's not flat, it's a vial. So if I ever have a pimple or something, I will put some on my hands, wash my hands before I do my makeup, and then I'll use that rather than directly. Yeah. So now with I pulled out a couple of lipstick colours. So we're not going to match this exactly. Where I've pulled this colour is just a tiny bit on the outside of my eyes. Now I've pulled in, this one, which has violet, manganese violet pigment with iron oxides. It's quite useful to read the ingredients list as far as the colour is concerned. So because it has violet in it, is related to this colour. Whereas it may not go as well if I went to, so I'm going from violet here, which is closest to this colour. It may not go so well if I went up here, for example. I mean, there's not saying you can't, but I was just saying for what I think would go. So just blending out the edges a little. I find this blush is a really nice formulation. It's a nude by nature. It's called Nude Berry, but I would say it's just more of a rose colour, to be honest. Just because I'm wearing a brighter colour doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to wear a bright makeup. So when I choose makeup, I choose what goes with my skin tone. I swatch it on my hand. I'm just going to do my lipstick, and then if I get time we'll look at my makeup collection. So I'm using a Porto Please, which is like a deep purpley violet colour, which again sort of going into this area. This is an abstract based on the colour wheel, a modern colour wheel, and I was looking at mixing it with this Firefly one, which is a little bit lighter. And that's my makeup, just done like that. Oh, just as an aside, a colour like this is considered generally by artists to be a warm blue. So because of the kind of undertone in it is violet, which is going towards red. And when you mix it with other colours such as yellow, you can, like a primary yellow, you can get more olive greens. Whereas if we were to go more of our phthalo blue, we would get more these kind of, sort of more vibrant kind of greens. So, but I generally find the concept of warm versus cool to be very inconsistent and confusing, especially when it's used for cosmetics and colour analysis, etc. So I prefer to think of leaning when I'm choosing my colours. Is it leaning more violet? Is it leaning more green or whatever? And then just pick something that kind of harmonises. So this palette here has the ultramarines in it, and actually lists as ingredients, and you read the ingredients ultramarines. But as far as colour, if you're comparing to paint, this one is the most similar to the ultramarine. Now, so let's just have a quick look at what makeup I have, and just sort of pull the makeup out of the drawer. So I have built up 2 sets of brushes of mixed brands. They don't have to be mega expensive brushes, but I have basically got one set of brush here with a powder puff, which I have forgotten to use. Let's just use it now. So I would use it in this case with the banana powder, so either a light brush, a small brush, it's probably better to start with, but I can use a little bit of powder under the eye area, and also just in any shinier kind of prone areas where I would tend to use it. So I have 2 sets of makeup brushes which I've built up. The reason for that is so that one can be washed and drying, just let them dry completely for a couple of days. It's basically there, plus a few other items. And got my entire eyeshadow collection and blushes, etc. pretty much is there. Let's just have a look very quickly, run down. So, so I tend to just put my lipsticks into these holders, which I got for about $5, and makes it easy to select rather than just being a pile. So until recently I used to only have like about 6 lipsticks, 1 foundation, 1 powder, 1 blush, 1 mascara, and a couple of eyeshadow palettes. So I've built up a bit more. Now we're not going to go in great detail, but I will just quickly show you some of them. So, so at the moment I've got 2 concealers. We're just going to look at the colours. Basically they're both neutrals, they're light medium range, rather than explaining the brand, etc., which would take too long. Sometimes I use this contour, which I find is a little bit more reddish. I only have 2 colour correctors. One is this deep peach, which I find really useful for dark circles and hyperpigmentation. I generally find it more natural if I mix it in with concealer. This one here is a green. I definitely do not use that straight onto my skin. Definitely would mix it for a small amount. So if any red areas, I was actually testing it out with you know, like adjusting foundation, but I don't really think it's needed. Seems to be okay to use a neutral foundation in small amounts. So lipstick colours, let's just quickly show you. This is kind of more purpley kind of one. This one is a little bit light on me, but I can still mix it. This is kind of like a rusty orangey red. I use it sometimes. It's probably one of my warmest lipsticks. This one's Raisin Rage by Revlon. I use that one a lot. It's like a dark red that's kind of brownish red. This one is a bit warmer, rustier, so it was incidentally typed as a deep autumn years ago, over 30 years ago. So my lipsticks tend to be, if you might notice a pattern, darker. That one's probably quite dark on me. I would probably only use a tiny bit of it. That's Rumberry. Quite a few Revlon lipsticks in the Illustrious range because I quite like the formulation and in the colour range. So that one's a slightly warmer one. So they're not really bright lipsticks. That one's a little bit more pinky. That one's a dark one on me again, but it's a little bit purplish. That one's blackberry. It's a reddish one. Most of them are brown, actually, you see a pattern. But the thing is, it could be subtlety, so I mix them together, put one on, blot it a little, put another on. This one here is a little bit warmer, but it's still a brown and it's not light. This is one of my lightest lipsticks on me. It looks like a nude, slightly warm. Generally find with this one, with the sheen in it, it's better to go over the top. Now with some of these reds, I'm going to come across a few reds now, generally they're a little bit deeper, and I also don't wear them full strength, so some of them lean a bit below, like that one. The ones that lean a little bit below are a little bit harsher with my skin tone, but they can make your teeth look whiter, whereas the reds, which are more yellowish, can make your teeth look yellowish as well. So that's the one that we're wearing at the moment, the Portrait Please. So it's like a slightly muted purpley, violety purple. This one here is, I definitely would mix it if I wanted to wear it. So that one is a Blush Rose by Maybelline. It's just a little bit cool and a little bit light on me. This one here is a bit too strong on me. So this one is, love that red, but I could use it if I mixed it again. So you can mix reds because there's lots of different types of reds. And this one here would be quite a soft one on me. That one, I wouldn't go any, preferably no lighter than that as a colour. And when I swatch them on my hand, if they're showing up, like not really bold, or they're not disappearing on me, it's usually quite good. So I won't go for any pale pastels, for example. This one, it's kind of like a rustic red. This one's my latest one, Wild Saffron, and it's a slightly warm red, but I would probably still mix the reds again, just so it's not too warm and not too bright, and also blot with a tissue. So that's like a darker red. That's Uncut Ruby. I'll just show you the difference. You definitely can mix a warmer red and a cooler red together. And the deeper red is slightly more higher chroma, and that one's slightly deeper as well. And that one in particular is like between a red and a magenta. It's somewhere in between, but it's way too vibrant if I used it full strength. So again, I would mix it or blot it. So the blushes, I've got this one here. So it looks cooler compared to warm blushes, and it looks warm compared to cool blushes. So something in between when you can't really tell. It's also a bit muted is ideal. Whereas this one is actually called Warm Rose. They're actually, you know, at first glance not that different, but this one does have red pigment in it. So again, it's useful. So I would wear that with a red, like I wore it with a red dress yesterday. It has red pigment, but it's softer on me. So I don't pick what matches exactly. I pick what matches me and then coordinate it. So I go that way around. So what else is in here? So here, this one can be a useful base. So that one's a Revlon and Praline, a cream blush. I've got, this is my most used product for decades. It's a powder by Nude by Nature, a medium, and it's N4 medium. But I will probably just use this more for combination skin. I have a sort of more oily T-zone. They call it a T-zone, your forehead and your nose and your chin. And then I'll probably use more hydrating products for my cheek area. And then I've got my banana powder, which I use a small amount. It's a finer milled powder. It's ideal for under the eyes. Let's have a quick look at my shadow palettes. these all away. So I usually do my makeup here so I can look towards the window, and I find it quite handy just to have the makeup there when I can just reach in and grab it. So I make massive sales, so often the makeup will be, you know, 30% off, 40% off or something like that. I tend to buy items if I like the formulation and the pigmentation and the colours. So, but it won't be across for the whole brand. For example, I like some of the New by Nature products but not others. I like some of the L'Oreal products but not others, for example. So I do have a collection of Chi brushes. They are on sale quite a lot at department store. They're very, very pigmented, so that's what I'm wearing on my eyeshadow today. So I'll just show you some of the colours. I tend to go for ones which are more pigmented and not too many pale colours or chalky kind of colours. So that one there is some pinks. This one here is some blues and greens. I won't probably wear some of these lighter colours there. This one here I bought mainly for some of the greens, but probably won't wear again that pale green. This one here is a mauve one. It's got spicy mauves. So it's more of a muted, slightly purplish colour. So this one here is the one that I'm wearing at the moment, which is the blues. I bought it for mainly some of the more vibrant and darker blues, but I probably would not wear that pale powder blue. Anything that's got too much white in it just sits on top of my skin. Then I've got a few different browns. So I've got this one called Cool Browns. Now some of the other brands, this is my most used eyeshadow palette, which is Scandalized by Rimmel. I haven't actually used much in the way of Rimmel, to be honest, but I don't really use that particular light, but I use the others a lot, especially using the darks as an eyeliner. I have this one, Warmer Browns. I won't go through and name all the palettes, but this one's by Revlon. This one here, it's kind of more violet purple, so again it's not, we're not going full on into purples, we're going a little bit more violet, so between the magenta and the purple, and it's a bit muted, so it's not like very, very, very bright. But again, I still only use a tiny bit, and this one didn't cost, this one was very cheap to buy, but it's definitely not as good quality as Revolution. It tends to have more fallout, powderiness, and not as pigmented as the others. So I definitely like the Chi range. I think that's an Australian range. Now from the Chi blushes, I only have the Dusty Rose Duo. I only have the Dusty Rose Duo, which is a little bit darker. Some of the other blushes, when I've swatched them, are just a little bit too bright in a bad way for my complexion. This one here, Australis, this blush here is really nice as well. It's got extra. And this one is called Hot Cheek. So what they have in common, this is Revlon, is that they tend to be a bit deeper. And if anything, I go a little bit cooler rather than warmer with blushes. Usually not too orange, somewhere in between is usually good. I've got this bronzer. I don't tend to use it on my face. I tend to use it sometimes if because my face is generally darker than down here, so sometimes I use it down here. This one's NYX Buttermilk Bronzer. Now I don't like the strong fragrance. I do have a blush. I've put it aside with some makeup that I won't use very often. Actually, we can probably go in that pile, really. So another item which I don't use very often is this Revlon Skin Lights. The colour is Twilight Gleam. But if I do want any shimmer at all, it can be quite nice to just add a bit there, or why don't we just add a little bit now, just to show you, just very subtle. I don't like very shiny makeup, so I'll just put a little bit there, a little bit there, have a dimple in my chin. Okay, right, so all we've got left then is my some makeup items that are a little bit, I just wanted to separate them just so I don't get them mixed up. So I've got a different True Match one here which is a bit darker, which I was mixing in, but it's quite greyish. I got this one for about half price. It was a Maybelline 125 Nude Beige, to show you the difference between my foundations. So this one is the closest one. This one's a little bit dark and a little bit grey. This one here I tried on, swatched it at one store, checked in natural daylight, it looked fine, but then when I saw a nearly half price sale on another store, I got it and it's too orange. So it can be really annoying. I don't generally buy makeup online, it's hard enough to match as it is, and I also just quite like the ritual of trying makeup on the back of my hands, but it's because of hygiene reasons I don't use test makeup on my face, other than if I do narrow down a foundation, I will test a little bit here and there. But I can tell even just from my hand whether it's going to go with my undertone and complexion, you know, you get a very good idea. So anyway, I might do a test with that one to show how, if I could be bothered, I could actually adjust it with some of my eye makeup, because I only have 2 colour correctors. This is quite a nice terracotta colour, but again it's got a really annoying fragrance. Same with this NYX Buttermilk blush. It's very, very shimmery, and again they're a really annoying fragrance, so it's like having this fragrance by your nose all the time, and I'm very sensitive, so if I were to use it, I use a little bit just there. Now I've got a couple of other products which probably won't use very often. I've got another Scandal Eyes which I bought in different colours. Probably they're a little bit bright on me. And I did buy this mauve which was quite nice. It's a little bit drying on my eyes. And even though I like most of the Revlon lipsticks, I don't particularly like these. One of them I got free actually. They are the Shine ones. They just end up melting all over the place. They're just a bit of a mess, so I probably won't. Anyway, they're the ones that I don't reach for as much. These NYX, I bought them for contour. The contour part of them is completely wrong. They are basically, the colour is really bad, like on me. But the highlight parts, they're double-sided. The highlight parts aren't that bad, so you know I could use that. But anyway, that's makeup I will reach for less frequently, and I'm going to put the bronzer in there. So that's at the back, and put everything else into this little basket. So that's the eyeshadows and the blushes, and it's still not even full. The drawer is not even full. And then we've got our foundation in there. We've got a set of eyelash curlers that I hardly use. I've got a couple of these headbands that are really useful. And my brushes, I've just got 2 sets that I've built up. I used to just have one. I've just added to them, and try to wash my brushes regularly, so this one's nice and clean. And so I don't use primers or setting sprays, so I've got a magnifying mirror. That's it, thanks.